If you go on social media, it's all DI, woke, anything that. Bunch of white males that don't want to see anything else but white males. How long before my face is accepted as American?
Right.
Like, when do I become American and not other?
If your initial reaction is to get defensive, then you might want to interrogate that. But it's also that thing of like, when they watch a Black hero, they're distinctly aware that this is not a white hero.
This is an Unsolicited Perspectives YouTube exclusive.
Jay, we talked about in one of the last shows about the Lionheart trailer. Ironheart, excuse me. What is Lionheart? Lionheart was a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. This ain't that.
It was.
Yeah.
It was 1990.
It's something like that.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, when he was popular.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Ironheart.
Yes.
So we talked about the Ironheart trailer, and he was like, it's out. And I was like, yeah, and then I sent it to you. No sooner than I sent it to you, I guess my algorithm picked up on it and started sending me stories about the negative reaction that the trailer has been getting, which is not surprising. But
No.
okay, so let's give everybody a little bit of a backstory. The trailer for Marvel Studios' Ironheart has received noticeably negative reaction online, with a significant number of dislikes and critical comments across platforms like YouTube and social media. It was released in May 2025, I'm talking about the trailer, and quickly became the target of review bombing, amassing over 300,000 dislikes versus fewer likes, with a dislike ratio of 64%. Criticism in the comments ranged from design of Riri Williams' Iron Suit, the use of rap music, and the perception that the character is simply replacing Iron Man rather than standing as her own hero. Some viewers expressed fatigue with what they see as Marvel's focus on legacy or replacement characters, and questioned the originality of Riri Williams' story arc, particularly the idea of creating something iconic that already exists, the Iron Man suit. There are complaints about the long production delay and skepticism regarding the show's quality and necessary. But that's not really what it's about. It's connected to the racial representation of Riri Williams. A substantial portion of the backlash is tied to the race and gender of the main character, Riri Williams, who is portrayed by Dominique Thorne, who is a Black woman. Some negative reactions explicitly racist or sexist, with comments and memes targeting the show as woke or accusing Marvel of pandering by introducing a Black female lead as a replacement for a popular white male Iron Man. This pattern mirrors previous Marvel projects with diverse leads, such as The Marvels, which was an all-female cast, which also faced similar dislike bombing and accusations of forced diversity. So, yes, we got that. And like, I wasn't surprised, because these negative bombing has happened. It happened with that Disney, The Acolytes, which I thought was a great show, but they didn't want to have Black. Basically, if you go on social media, it's all DI, woke, anything that. A bunch of white males that don't want to see anything else but white males.
Yeah, and let's also again be clear that when they say things like that, it is rooted in anti-Black racism.
Yeah.
This is not your normal everyday run-of-the-mill racism. There is a specific kind of racism that targets Black people in general. But it's not like Marvel hasn't already kind of handled this. Oh gosh. With the new Iron Man. Like they did it in the what was the show?
The new Iron Man. I don't know what show you're talking.
No, sorry, not Iron Man. The new Captain America.
Yes, Captain America.
Captain America. No, what was the show? I can't remember.
I don't remember. It was Captain America show. No, Black we call it Black Captain America.
Yeah, we call it Black Captain America. But he actually had a show.
I think it was Winter. I think it was Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was
Okay,
it. Why was that so difficult for that? Because we call him Black Captain America.
Yeah,
and they
because we
did
call
it
him
in
Black
the
Captain
show.
America. Black people don't ever know the title of things. We just
We never.
we know it was Black Captain America.
And we'll call now it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll call it Falcons and Winter Soldiers.
Yep.
That's what we'll call it. But we actually call it Black Captain America. But they dealt with this already in that show where he is like, I can't be the face of America. I'm a black man.
Yeah.
And they found some unqualified white man to do it. And he was terrible at it.
Well, yeah, he was terrible, so terrible at it. They took it away from him, and then they put him in the Thunderbolts movie.
Yes.
And they did a whole backstory of the shame of being getting the super soldier serum and all that stuff. And yes, he was bad at it.
Yeah. So they've already dealt with the replacement of a main white character with a black character,
and they didn't like it. They didn't
like it.
No,
they didn't like it at all. But I mean, listen, Little Mermaid, she's black. The new Captain America is black, and guess what? Ironheart, black.
Yeah,
and it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you guys.
It's so funny. I was talking to somebody. They're like a 67-year-old white woman. And she was like, I just wish they had shows like they did back in the day. And I was like, what shows are you talking about? Then the show she labeled like Little House on the Prairie and like all those Nick at Night shows. And I was like, there were no black people on those shows. There was no black representation on those shows.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. How do you not think about that? Because you can exist in a world where you see representation of you everywhere.
Because you exist in a world, in a country specifically, but certainly in a world where whiteness is the default.
Yes.
You're not white, you're an American. Everybody else has to be something hyphen American.
Mm-hmm.
You're not considered white American.
Nope. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
So when you've been indoctrinated, because that's the best way to describe it, to see whiteness as the default, and then suddenly the default becomes somebody other than you. Now you're like, well, what the heck is going on? This is weird.
Yeah.
This is different and this is strange. No, it's not. Other people live here. And other people would like to see themselves represented on the screen. Other people would like to see themselves represented in media.
I was watching this documentary, and it was about the woman that played the Asian lady in Sinners. I forgot what her name was, the character's name.
Grace Chow?
Okay, so she was doing an interview, and she said, hey, there's a documentary that talks about all the Asian people in the Delta, Mississippi. And so I watched this. It's a little short documentary, about 13 minutes. And the Asian people, Chinese people, have been here for generations, living in the Delta, have that twang accent and everything.
Yes.
And
that was an accurate representation of the times.
Yeah. And they brought it up like it's always a shock when they talk to people to hear that voice coming out of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes people will even say, well, how long have you been here? Basically saying, well, you're not American. And she says, how long before my face is accepted as American?
Right.
Like, when do I become American and not other?
That is so good.
Yeah.
That is so good. What did she say? How long is it before my face becomes American and not other? Yeah.
And you're right. Like, it is looked at as a default. And let's be clear. This is a small percentage of the population. It's just allowed. It's just a loud percentage of the population.
Yeah.
The loudest are always the weakest. And the majority of people are going to hopefully watch this. People went out to go see Captain America movie with Red Hulk. Of course, when I talk to people, people that were white, they was like, yeah, I'm going to go see the Red Hawk movie. Like, that's not what it is, right? It's the Captain America movie, Black Captain America movie. And it did well. He's going to be the leader in the Doomsday Avengers. He's the new Captain America.
Yes.
Riri is the new Iron Woman.
Yeah.
Right? She's a genius, just like Tony Stark, goes to MIT. This is a beautiful American story.
Yeah.
And it's just those weak individuals that don't want to see anything else but themselves, because they know that if you put other people in positions where they can succeed, they'll probably be left behind because they're not exceptional. Now, I'm not saying that white people in America aren't exceptional. There are absolutely exceptional white people in America, right? There are exceptional people in every race. Given a fair playing field, the non-exceptional people in every race, mind you, every race, are going to get left behind. It just so happens that the race that is the default in America is like, well, no, I shouldn't be left behind because this land is my land.
Yeah, but
it's our land.
But if you have to hold back other people in order to prove that you're exceptional, then you're not exceptional.
Right.
If you have to disenfranchise and oppress other people to prove to who? Yourself, that you're exceptional, then you're not exceptional. If you were exceptional, we'd see it. You know how whenever you compliment a Black woman, like, oh, I like your dress, or oh, you looking good, and she'd be like, you see it? Yeah, because you see it.
Right.
I don't need to say anything.
Or they say, I'm just trying to be like you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but like, you see it. Like, you don't have to prove that you're exceptional. But again, it's not just the fear of not being supreme, right? It's also being confronted with the fact that you are not the default.
But they are the default, though. That's the default in America.
Yeah, but not that. It's more about, it's like I said on our last show, white people hate the recognition that they're white.
And we want to emphasize not all.
Not
all.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like we had to put disclaimers all the time because people would be like, not me. You can't say all people. We're generalizing.
Yeah, please.
Generalization.
And also please get over that. We're not saying all men, all women, all white people, all this, all that. Nobody is saying all. Like,
but if you take offense to
get
it,
over that.
But if you take offense to it, we are talking about you. Because only people that would get offended by it are those people that feel what we're saying is directed towards them. And then, that's you.
Yeah. If your initial reaction is to get defensive, then you might want to interrogate that. But it's also that thing of like, when they watch a Black hero, they're distinctly aware that this is not a white hero. Mm-hmm. And then they have to confront that feeling of why do I need this to be a white hero? Why am I so uncomfortable with the fact that this is a Black hero? And it's easy to deflect and say, well, this is just the woke agenda. Baby, we did not have good representation of who we are as people in this country. We are just now starting to get roles that we are creating for ourselves, mind you. We are writing and directing these things. We are creating them for ourselves that reflect the nuance of people as people. And these are all American stories because they are all rooted in the history of this country. There are Asian people, particularly Chinese, in the Delta that have been there for generations. Black people have been here. We've been here.
They ain't going nowhere.
And we ain't going nowhere.
But I will say,
Latinos started here.
Right. I will say that Marvel, more than DC, you know I'm a DC fan, Marvel has always been, quote unquote, what these people like to say, woke. Mm-hmm. The whole X-Men saga is about inequality and being attacked because you're different.
Yeah.
That's what. And so for all those people out there who woke, yeah, Marvel's always been woke. Stan Lee,
yeah.
Stan Lee has openly said it. So if you're a Marvel fan and you're saying it's too woke, then you're not really a Marvel fan. And oh, by the way, there's enough Marvel products that are coming out with TV and movie that you get your fill of white superheroes.
Yeah,
they're still the majority.
Yeah, baby, the Thunderbolts, they was all white.
No, there was a black character on there.
Okay, there was one. We get out one.
But they were led by a female, so they have a problem. And they have a problem with, like, the Marvels. The Marvels had a white woman, an Indian woman, a black woman. Yeah, those were the three main characters. And it was a great movie.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
I had a lot of fun watching the Marvels.
Thunderbolts was a great movie. Kind of the only, no, I'm not going to say that. But yeah, all those movies that are led by minorities in Marvel, pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a bad one yet. So give it a chance instead of hating. But I don't think you can stop hating.
Probably not.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.